Hello, and thank you very much for tuning in to the podcast series by the New Silk Road Project. I'm your host today, Charles Stevens, the founder of the New Silk Road Project. This series is dedicated to understanding and raising awareness of one of the most important development strategies of the 21st century, China's Belt and Road Initiative. The centerpiece of the New Silk Road Project, an initiative supported by Jeep, CSIS, Magellan Capital, the University of St Andrews and Shira, was to travel the course of the Silk Road economic belt from London to Yiwu in eastern China, interviewing the key actors and academics along its course. We will have to apologise in advance for some of the tangential moments in this podcast series, and also the variable quality of audio footage. We do hope this series sheds important light into China's growing global presence and the significant changes taking place across Eurasia. Nurshan Toganbayev is the commercial director of Khorgos Gateway, the poster boy project of the New Silk Road, and an epitome of the image of development and connectivity which China's Belt and Road Initiative wants to be associated with. To get there, we drove along a new Karak-developed highway from Almaty to the Kazakh border with China. Seeing a project which has had so much discussion in the international media came with a lot of anticipation, but our conversation with Nurshan helped to explain and for us to understand some of these questions we had.
My name is Nurshan Toganbayev. I'm a commercial director of the company of Khorgos Gateway. We are the terminal, so we represent the dry port called as Khorgos Gateway. And I've been working for this company almost 3 years, and I'm in charge of attracting clients and working with clients, providing various services, terminal services. And so this is mainly what I do within this project.
And being here for around 3 years, you've obviously been here from the start.
Yeah.
How have things changed throughout that time?
Sure. I remember my first time in the dry port. For example, there were no gantry cranes. So mainly we used reach stackers to transship containers. Now we use gantry cranes in order to transload transit and import containers from wagon to wagon. Also, the volume has increased dramatically. We see, if you compare 2017 with 2016, there was double increase of container volume. And this year we also expect a great increase compared to the last year. Generally speaking, this project has brought great impact on increasing transit containers, import containers, and other cargoes from China across Kazakhstan to different destinations, such as Central Asian countries, European countries, Russia, Turkey, Azerbaijan, and etc.
And of course, your cargo comes from China and then is distributed throughout Central Asia and Europe. Can you pinpoint any hotspots, any places which are your sort of biggest clients as they were, or is it more of a geographical spread?
Geographically there are many destinations where we ship these containers and the cargoes. Mainly these are Central Asian countries like Uzbekistan. And recently we have seen the increase of container volume shipped to European countries like Germany and Poland.
And you mentioned one of your responsibilities is to help attract clients, and I believe you were just with a delegation earlier.
Yes.
Well, are you happy to discuss which particular regions you've had the most interest from?
Mainly, well, there are clients in Kazakhstan, because there are many freight forwarding companies who work with us, and so they are interested in bringing this volume and bringing this cargo from China across Kazakhstan and shipping them to different countries, not only to Kazakhstan but also to other countries. So apart from Kazakh companies, there are also other companies from other countries like South Korea, China, also Uzbekistan. So these countries are very interested in shipping their cargo across the dry port.
And this project has been seen as a focal point for the Belt and Road Initiative and the New Silk Road. How do you, as a result of this, what do you see as your role within the Belt and Road, and how do you see this as progressing in the future?
Our dry port plays one of the important roles within this One Belt One Road initiative. So we are like a hub. So mainly, this is the point where, as we say, where the east meets west. So eastbound containers and the cargoes are brought to the dry port and transloaded onto westbound direction, onto wagons. So we handle these containers, and due to our capabilities and capacity, we transship these containers and send from the dry port to its final destination. Yeah.
And more recently, there's been a change of top-level management from a European CEO to a standard-born one. Has this resulted in any change in direction of Khorgos Gateway?
Obviously, there was a great impact of changing in top management in the company. Now, not only Kazakh CEO, Kazakh top management does work in a dry port, but also there are Chinese shareholders. So they have been working with our company over the last year, since the last year, and so there are two Chinese shareholders. First is the port of Lianyungan, and second one is COSCO Shipping Lines. So 49% of share was purchased by these shareholders last year, and now collaborating with them, we bring volume of containers from China to different destinations.
So this involvement of Chinese partners has resulted in greater ambition to increase volumes. Has it had any other effects there?
Well, mainly yes. Due to this partnership with our Chinese partners, we have seen the increase of volume. So mainly we are interested in generating much volume of containers. Of course, that due to that we earn additional income. So this is why we work actually, and of course we see that this project brings positive impacts not only on the regional level but also on the level of Kazakhstan generally.
And what impacts is it bringing to Kazakhstan on a more local level, to your major town of Zarkent down the road, and also to some of the villages?
Sure, I will explain that. So our dry port is like a transit point, transit hub. So these containers, like block trains or container trains, pass across the dry port and go further across the railway of Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan is very interested in increasing the volume of transit cargo, because thanks to this plan, Kazakhstan also earns additional income, because each country puts efforts on bringing much volume of transit, so they could earn income on this within this project.
And I noticed when we were coming back from the port with you earlier that there's a bit of construction work going on just outside there. Is this part of the Khorgos Gateway development plan, or what is going on out there?
Well, these are separate. These are other companies. First of all, let me tell you this way: the dry port is one of the participants in the special economic zone.
If we just wait until that.
Sorry. put it this way.
Well, okay. We can start from the beginning.
Sorry.
No worries.
So let me turn it off.
There's something you have to take as well,
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Feel free to start from the beginning.
So the dry port is one of the participants in this special economic zone called Khorgos Eastern Gateway. Apart from our terminal, there are other participants in this special economic zone. So before you saw the two objects, so they are being built at the moment. So one of them is a factory. It's going to be as a factory. The second one is going to handle grain. So they plan to export this grain to China. So there are other companies, so separate companies, I would say.
And how big is this special economic zone in total? And also, at the moment, trains are only coming from China, aren't they? So with this idea to also export to China, do you see this as becoming a more important theme in Khorgos Gateway, a sort of east and westbound trade pattern?
Well, I would say yes. And the dry port handles import and the transit cargoes. So we handle transit cargoes coming from China. And if we say about export containers or transit containers passing across Kazakhstan going to China, these cargoes are handled in China. So this is like agreement between two countries, according to which Kazakhstan handles import and transit containers, and China handles export and also transit containers coming to their territory.
And just going back to the China theme, I believe you're partnered with Leamington Port in eastern China, is that correct?
Do you mean Lianyungan Port, yes.
Lianyungan Port. What collaboration and partnership has there been between you guys?
Most of the volume of containers is shipped from the port of Lianyungan. I would say more than 80% of this volume we receive from Lianyungan. And the port of Lianyungan is kind of like hub. So they consolidate all of these containers coming from China, South Korea or Japan, and then they send one train, for example. So once they have collected all these containers, let's say 40 or 50 containers, then they make one train. And then this train is sent to all the way across China to Kazakhstan, to the dry port. So we all do know that we are going to receive no number of containers and the trains to the dry port.
And you mentioned earlier that the volume of trains coming has been increasing. Do you have any figures or statistics to hand at the level of increase and what you're anticipating in the future?
Well, as I told you before, there has been a double increase of container volume, and also it relates to number of trains as well.
So how many trains per se are you handling at the moment?
For example, daily we handle up to 5 or 6 trains, Chinese trains. Then these trains are handled and they're transshipped onto Kazakh wagons. Then these wagons are sent to different destinations.
And of course, the moving between gorges presents a challenge to both Khorgos gateways and other logistics hubs. What other challenges do you as a port have?
Do you mean that what kind of service are we going to offer?
What roadblocks and challenges does the Khorgos Gateway have for further development in the future? May that be weather problems, may that be customs, maintenance, whatever.
Yeah, I got it. Well, I would say at the moment we're looking forward to getting more volume of containers. You may know that there are two hubs, like Altenkolk station, where we are now at the border of Kazakhstan and China. There is another hub called Dostik, and the Dostik station also handles such container trains. And we plan that, we expect that some of the volume will be shifted from Dostik to Altenkolk station. And then we expect that the number of trains will increase in the near future. Now, our shareholders, like Kazakhstan Railways Company in Astana and the Chinese partners, are working on that, on reshifting these routes from Dostik to Altenkolk. So I would say that this is the biggest challenge for us now.
Would you be happy to discuss a bit more about Dostoyevsk? Is it more established? Why is the major amount of volume been going through there in the past?
The Dostik station was found in the beginning of 1990s. Yeah, so they have been working for almost 30 years, and so I would say that there is traditional route from China to Kazakhstan and other countries across Dostik, and not many people and not many shippers or Chinese companies know about the other hub, like Altenkolk station, and especially they're not. Maybe most of them are not aware of the dry port. So for this reason, they are used to send, the cargo across Dostik, and now our shareholders and the partners are working on promoting our services and the station of Altenkolk in China. So in future, we expect that the volume of cargo will increase rapidly. Yeah.
And would you be able to highlight the main goods that you deal in?
Mm-hmm. Mainly we handle containers, and there are many cargoes transported in these containers, like spare parts, construction materials, household items, etc. Yeah.
And of course, this fits nicely into China and the Eurasian vision for the Belt and Road Initiative. If you were going to summarize the Belt and Road Initiative in one word, what is that word for you?
Well, bright future for everyone.